Let's start our first news with Paddy finally putting one of the longest running stories surrounding him and Conor to rest. For years, fans had heard rumors about a possible feud brewing between the two biggest names in European MMA. Even before Paddy signed with the UFC back in 2021, stories about tension between him and Conor were already spreading across social media and MMA circles. One rumor in particular refused to go away. According to the story, Conor had supposedly shown up outside Paddy's house in Liverpool without warning, looking for a confrontation. Over time, the story grew even bigger, with different versions appearing everywhere online. However, while speaking to the media ahead of his fight this Saturday against Benoit Santi, Paddy made it crystal clear that the story was complete nonsense. Paddy laughed off the rumor and said it was a load of rubbish, before confirming that it never happened at all. He explained that people had created all kinds of wild stories after Conor visited Liverpool years ago. Some claimed Conor knocked on his front door looking for him. Others even suggested that Conor wanted to fight him right there and then. But that wasn't the end of it. According to Paddy, there were also rumors claiming that Conor was actually trying to invite him out to party instead. Every version of the story seemed different, and none of them were true. Paddy revealed that this all supposedly happened back in 2017 when he was still competing in Cage Warriors and still living with his family in Merseyside. He pointed out that his mother's house had security cameras installed and nobody ever came knocking at the door. As far as he is concerned, if anyone did show up, they must have knocked on the wrong house. Move on to another news, and Conor is wasting absolutely no time reminding everyone why he remains one of the biggest stars the sport has ever seen. With UFC 329 just days away, the anticipation surrounding his return continues to grow, and it looks like Conor has fully embraced his old antics once again. During UFC 329 Media Day, the former champion sat down with reporters for the first major media session of Fight Week, finally answering questions that fans and journalists have been waiting years to ask. One of the biggest topics involved comments recently made by Max, who referenced one of Conor's own famous quotes. According to Conor's long-standing logic, if you do not finish your opponent, the win does not truly count. Since their first fight ended in a decision victory for Conor, Max jokingly suggested that by Conor's own standards, he never actually lost the fight. When asked to respond, Conor dismissed the idea immediately. He reminded everyone that he put his big paws in Max's face and made it clear that he believes he won that fight fair and square. Conor also pointed to the devastating injuries he suffered during the bout, revealing that he tore both his ACL and meniscus, injuries that he says completely changed his approach to fighting moving forward. Despite that, Conor remained confident and promised that he would beat Max once again on Saturday night. The fireworks did not stop there. Conor was also asked about recent comments from Dustin, who once again repeated his desire to punch him in the face. While Conor hinted that a fight may never happen because he is unlikely to return to lightweight, he still had a message ready. "Join the queue," Conor said before reminding everyone that Max had previously put Dustin face down badly. He then doubled down by saying he has his eyes on a historic Triple Crown and finished by telling Dustin, "Less of the disrespect, you bum." Move on to another news, and Sean has now shared his thoughts on one of the biggest fights in recent UFC history, giving his prediction for Conor versus Max and explaining exactly how he believes both men can find victory. While breaking down the matchup, Sean admitted that he was leaning toward Conor, although even he did not sound completely convinced that his pick was based entirely on logic rather than instinct. According to Sean, the most dangerous weapon in Conor's arsenal has never just been his striking ability, but his confidence. He explained that Conor fights with complete belief in himself, constantly moving forward, applying pressure, and forcing opponents into mistakes. Sean believes Conor's game plan will revolve around backing Max toward the cage and baiting him into throwing his right hand. In his view, Conor will be searching for opportunities to counter with the powerful left hand that has become one of the most feared weapons in UFC history. However, Sean also pointed out that Max presents a completely different challenge from almost anyone Conor has faced before. According to him, Max is the type of fighter who simply does not care if he gets hit while trying to land his own shots. Sean described Max as a fighter with absolute confidence in his durability and his chin, someone who willingly accepts damage if it means he can continue pushing the pace and overwhelming his opponent. He explained that Max will continue marching forward regardless of what comes back at him. He will throw combinations, absorb shots, and immediately answer with punches of his own. In Sean's eyes, that relentless pressure is exactly what makes Max so dangerous over 5 rounds. As for Conor, Sean believes his clearest path to victory comes through landing one of those trademark big shots early in the fight. If Conor wins, Sean expects it to happen quickly. He predicted that a finish would most likely come in either the first or second round, before Max has the opportunity to settle into his rhythm and begin taking over the pace of the contest. But if the fight moves beyond those early rounds, Sean believes the momentum could shift dramatically. At that point, he expects fans could witness a true Max masterpiece, with Max surviving the early danger and gradually taking control of the action. Sean admitted that his heart tells him to pick Conor, but his mind keeps coming back to Max. He expects Conor to land those massive left hands and those dangerous counters early. But the biggest question in his mind is whether those shots will put Max away or whether Max will simply eat them and continue marching forward like nothing happened. Move on to another news. And Paddy has now shared his thoughts on Arman's current position in the lightweight division. And he does not believe the UFC is treating him unfairly at all. Over the past year, many fans and analysts have argued that Arman has been overlooked and passed over for a title opportunity far too many times. Some believe the UFC has kept one of the division's top contenders waiting on the sidelines, despite his impressive performances and growing popularity. However, Paddy sees the situation very differently. According to him, the reason Arman has fallen behind in the title picture has nothing to do with politics or bad luck. Instead, Paddy believes the lightweight contender simply has not been active enough inside the octagon. As most fans remember, Arman found himself in the UFC's bad books after withdrawing from his scheduled title fight against Islam back in January of 2025. Since then, despite remaining active outside the promotion, his UFC appearances have been limited. Although Arman secured a submission victory over Dan Hooker last November and has continued building a massive social media following, much of his recent activity has come through wrestling tournaments and grappling events rather than UFC fights. Speaking during an appearance on Full Send MMA, Paddy made it clear that he believes Arman needs to focus less on grappling competitions and more on fighting inside the octagon if he wants to force his way back into title contention. Paddy pointed out that activity matters in the UFC and bluntly stated that fighters who do not compete regularly often get left behind while others move ahead of them. He even highlighted Arman's recent record, claiming that he has only picked up 1 win in the last 3 years, and arguing that this simply is not enough to stay at the front of one of the most competitive divisions in the sport. Paddy then delivered his message directly, telling Arman to get active and stop spending so much time doing wrestling matches in a singlet. The conversation then shifted toward Paddy's own future and whether a huge win at UFC 329 could launch him straight into title contention. Some believe that if Paddy manages to score a spectacular finish over BSD, he could potentially jump ahead of Arman in the race for a shot at Dustin. Others have even suggested that a showdown with Ilya could quickly return to the table, especially considering how heavily that matchup had been discussed before Dustin changed the entire landscape of the lightweight division with his recent run. Move on to another news. And Sean has now completely changed his stance regarding the comments he previously made about Dustin and his struggles with depression. As many fans remember, Dustin recently opened up about dealing with depression, something that sparked a huge conversation throughout the MMA community. Sean initially reacted harshly to the situation, arguing that someone with Dustin's level of success and financial security should not be facing those kinds of issues. Those comments immediately created backlash among fans and fighters alike. However, after speaking directly with Dustin, Sean admitted that his original reaction came from the wrong place and publicly apologized for what he had said. According to Sean, the conversation helped put things into perspective and forced him to reflect on why his first response had been so angry and dismissive. In a follow-up video posted online, Sean explained that he spent a lot of time thinking about the situation and trying to understand his own reaction. That reflection eventually led him to direct his frustration somewhere else entirely. Sean then shifted his focus toward Bud Light, following rumors that the company could potentially be ending its relationship with Dustin after recent events. While nothing has officially been confirmed, speculation began after Dustin revealed that a major sponsor had already decided to move on from him. Because Bud Light is an alcohol company, many fans quickly connected the dots and wondered whether they were the sponsor in question. Sean made it clear that if those rumors turn out to be true, he believes it would be completely wrong. He argued that alcohol companies have spent billions of dollars marketing their products and building emotional connections with consumers over generations. Sean acknowledged that for many people, alcohol is associated with celebrations, family moments, and good memories. At the same time, he pointed out that for others, it can become something much darker and much more difficult to manage. That reality, according to Sean, is exactly why companies should stand beside people during difficult times rather than walk away from them. He described abandoning someone during one of the lowest moments of their life as the most un-American thing a company could do. Sean finished with a direct message aimed at Bud Light. If the company truly wants to represent American values, he argued, then they should stand beside Dustin, support him, and help him through the difficult moments, rather than turning their backs when he needs support the most. For Sean, that is what real loyalty looks like, and that is what he believes America should stand for. Move on to another news, and Conor has now addressed one of the strangest rumors that has followed both him and Paddy for years. Long before Paddy arrived in the UFC, stories about a potential rivalry between the two biggest names in European MMA had already started making the rounds online. Over time, one particular rumor seemed to grow larger and larger, eventually becoming one of those stories that many fans simply accepted as fact. According to the rumor, Conor had allegedly shown up outside Paddy's house in Liverpool years ago without warning, supposedly looking for him during a visit to the city. As the years passed, different versions of the story began circulating across social media and MMA forums. Some claimed Conor had gone there looking for a fight. Others suggested he wanted to confront Paddy over comments that had been made publicly. There were even stories claiming that Conor wanted to invite him out for a night of partying instead. Despite the countless versions of the tale, there was never any actual evidence that the incident ever happened. Recently, Paddy publicly dismissed the entire story and described it as complete nonsense. Now, with both fighters finally sharing the same card in Las Vegas, reporters saw the perfect opportunity to ask Conor about the rumor directly. During Media Day, Conor was asked to clear up exactly what happened during that alleged night in Liverpool and whether there was any truth behind the claims. His response was immediate and left very little room for interpretation. Conor quickly shut the rumor down and made it clear that the story was simply fake. Just like Paddy had already stated, Conor confirmed that no visit ever took place and that the entire situation had been blown out of proportion by rumors and online speculation. After years of stories, theories, and fan discussions, both men now appear to be completely aligned on one thing. The alleged Liverpool incident never happened, and one of MMA's most bizarre rumors can finally be put to rest for good. Move on to another news, and it looks like Max's move up to welterweight may be even more serious than many fans originally expected. Ever since the fight with Conor was announced, much of the attention has focused on whether Conor would be able to perform after such a long layoff. However, many people seem to be forgetting that Max is also stepping into completely new territory by moving up in weight himself. Over the past few months, fans have already seen several videos and photos showing Max's physical transformation, with many noticing just how much size he appears to have added for this challenge. Now, more details have emerged regarding exactly how dramatic that transformation has been. During a recent appearance on Ariel's show, Max's nutritionist and dietitian, Tyler Minton, revealed that Max has added so much muscle and size that he will actually be cutting weight ahead of the welterweight bout. That revelation surprised many fans. According to Minton, despite competing at 170 pounds for this fight, Max is still undergoing a weight cut for fight week rather than simply walking into the division at his natural size. Minton explained that one of the biggest misconceptions about Max has always been his physical stature. He pointed out that whenever fans see photos of him standing next to DC, they are often surprised by how compact DC actually appears in person. However, when people see photos of Max standing beside others, the reaction is usually the exact opposite. According to Minton, the most common response is simply, "Wow, he's huge." He went on to explain that Max has grown into a very large lightweight over the years, and that many fighters who are considered big lightweights naturally sit around the welterweight limit when they are not in training camp. Despite the upcoming weight cut, Minton made it clear that there is no concern surrounding the process. He described it as a controlled and manageable cut rather than one that should raise any alarms heading into fight night. With every new training photo that surfaces, Max continues to look more and more like a true welterweight, preparing for one of the biggest fights of his career.